Hi, I'm Kolarile, and I love talking about communication. There is a great saying, sometimes attributed to Abraham Lincoln, sometimes to Mark Twain, that says it is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. Miscommunicator of the week this week goes to Donald Trump, who forgot that age old principle. Now, as you know, I am a communication purist, but Donald Trump is an idiot.
Silence of the Lamb. Has anyone ever seen the Silence of the Lamb? The late great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner. This poor doctor. I'm about to have a friend for dinner, but Hannibal Lecter. Congratulations, the late great Hannibal Lecter.
However, I never let my personal views of someone affect my assessment of them as a communicator, which is why, for instance, Donald Trump came fifth on my list of the top 16 US and UK leaders for communication skills. And that is why my score for Donald Trump is 19 out of 25. I am particularly in awe of his incredible ability to speak extemporaneously for hours on end, that's without notes, at his political rallies without using a single filler word, no ums or ahs or likes. Seriously, watch it if you have a couple of hours to waste. It's really quite an incredible feat. But he really is an idiot. I know his supporters think he's some sort of intuitive genius, but he really isn't. He doesn't even know the words to his own national anthem. Seriously, Kamala, you really need to bring that up in the debate. But Donald's stupidity was on full display this week when he attended the Economic Club in New York to take questions. And he took a question from a lady, Reshma Saljani, the founder of Girls Who Code and Mums First, when she asked him about childcare.
If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. You know, I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that, because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country. Because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, and as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. It's about make America great again. We have to do it because right now we're a failing nation. So we'll take care of it. Thank you. Very good question. Thank you.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now, this is not a politics channel, so I'm not going to go into what that means for the race, but I do want to speak about what it means for us as communicators. There will be times when you face questions from people and you literally do not know the answer, as clearly he didn't. So what should you do? Here are 3 rules to help you out. Number 1, pause for thought. There really is nothing wrong with just taking a moment to have a think. And our brains are super computers. They literally think in like 60,000 bits per second. And so just half a second, just 1 second of a pause would actually give you the opportunity to collect your thoughts and then decide which way are you going to approach this answer. Number 2, don't try to bluff it. Don't try to blag it. Everybody can tell, everybody can see through it, and they will respect you less because they can see that you tried to cover up your ignorance rather than actually just accept it and admit it head on. And finally, number 3, if you don't have an answer, go deep on the question. If you don't have a solution, go deep on the problem. There's a great saying by Jay Abrams, an American executive coach, who said that if you can articulate a problem better even than your customers, they will automatically assume you have the answer. Steve Jobs once said that if you understand the problem, that's the beginning of the solution. And if you don't already have an answer, what you can do is to take the question head on and show how deeply you understand the problem. How, well, yes, childcare is a massive problem. It affects the economy, it affects mothers and fathers, it affects the children. It leads to more unemployment because people don't go back into the workplace, all sorts of things, right? He could have talked about, given some stats and figures, if you knew them, that showed his deep understanding of the problem. And that allows him to trade on that assumption that people will have, that if he understands the problem so well, he must already have or be working on a solution. And then he could have pulled his age-old trick that I'm actually speaking with my advisors at the moment, and we're coming out with a policy to tackle this incredible problem in a couple of weeks, so just bear with me.
And we're going to have another big announcement in 2 weeks that'll take place over the next 2 weeks. And we're doing one other thing that, believe it or not, is even bigger, but you'll be seeing that over the next 2 weeks.
We'll be reporting back sometime over the next 2 weeks as to NAFTA.
I'll be making a big decision on the Paris Accord over the next 2 weeks.
What about infrastructure? When is that going to happen?
We're going to do infrastructure very quickly. We've got the plan largely completed, and we'll be filing it over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Something like that, right? It's not going to be the best answer in the world, but just by going deep on the problem and showing his understanding of what it meant, he would have at least been able to retain some degree of credibility and some degree of belief from the audience that actually he does know what he's talking about and he is going to do something about it. So when you face that same situation and you really don't know what the answer is, think about the problem that the question is asking and analyze the problem with your audience. Talk about it, dissect it, pull it apart. Think about different angles, engage in that kind of conversation. And even though you don't have a solution for it, and they'll kind of tell that you don't, they will respect the fact that you obviously are a deep thinker about the issues, and they will give you credit for that. And you may just come out of it with your reputation, if not enhanced, at least not seriously damaged, like poor Donald Trump was on this occasion. Although, quite frankly, it doesn't really matter because his supporters will support him no matter what he says, and his detractors will never listen to him at all anyway. We'll look forward to see what happens in the election. As always, when you're ready to start working on your communication skills, you know where to go. Somewhere on this page, you will see a link to my incredible masterclass that, I mean, so many rave reviews for it, which is lovely. So check it out, and I'll see you on the next video.